Knee deep in drugs. You can actually log on and read the transcripts from when her ex-boyfriend, Jamarcus Glover, got arrested back in 2018. They actually recorded their jail conversations between her and the entire network of the people that were moving drugs through the neighborhood. Okay? He was asking her to do things in his place. She was involved, and she was also made it very clear that she was worried because she loved him so much that he was going to end up in serious trouble one day. Unfortunately, she didn't worry enough about herself and what trouble she was going to be in one day. This is a case that comes down to personal responsibility. Of course, the most important part about this case, which no one is talking about, is that they fired first. They shot a police officer, and I shouldn't say they, I should say the guy that she was with at the time, Kenneth Walker, fired and shot a police officer before hiding behind her and running to the back of the house, and she then took all of the bullets.
A few moments later.
You know, we do have to take into account that her boyfriend did shoot at the cops and shot a cop. So, like I say, even though I'm really sorry she lost her life, I don't think that we can just say we can put this in the same situation with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. I just don't believe that.
Hall of Famer and co-host Shaquille O'Neal agreed with Barkley. Now both are facing criticism on social media. Sports reporter Jamel Hill said, with all due respect to the TNT crew, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron did not present the full story in his public comments. He presented half-truths to shape a narrative. The police were careless and reckless and tried to cover their expletive.
Yo, YouTube, what's going on? Trey back again, hit you all with a wonderful video. Hope y'all had a great weekend. My weekend was very good. Hope y'all are having a great day so far. This story is basically an update, a clarification, if you will, to the Breonna Taylor death that happened in Kentucky. And a lot of people already know about this story. This story went worldwide. That's why it's such a big deal. And people need to take this story very seriously because it shines a light to the injustice that's really going on in America and how people will say anything to try to validate and prove their point. Whereas we had a young lady, 26 years old, yes, a beautiful young lady, that was gunned down in her own home, all under the suspects of her involved in drugs and selling drugs also, as what Candace Owens had to say. A lot of y'all might be saying, well, Candace Owens, yes, you all already know Candace Owens, the one that basically threw George Floyd on the bus, saying that he was basically a drug user, he had fentanyl in his system, and basically that he kind of, asked for his own death, even though we clearly seen the video of what happened in that situation. And Candace Owens also had something to say about this story also, along with Charles Barkley, along with Shaquille O'Neal, and also the Kentucky Attorney General himself, yes, Mr. Cameron, if you will. Now, everything you're hearing is not factual. Everything you're hearing is not truthful, as it seems. So what I'm trying to do is basically just, narrow a few things down. Basically, what Charles Barkley had to say and what Candace Owens had to say, even though Candace Owens did a lot more. And basically, it's like this. How can you speak good of somebody and then at the same time speak so bad of them and basically saying they asked for their own death and that, being a part and affiliated with certain people, which is true in a way, will cause you to end up getting killed. But that has nothing to do with law enforcement coming to your apartment with a no-knock search warrant at 1 a.m. and basically not identifying themselves, kick your door in with a battering ram, well, basically bust it down with a battering ram, run in there, and ultimately gun this woman down. Now, people were saying, even Candace was saying, that the police officers announced who they was, but even the neighbors themselves said they did not hear no police officer announce who they was or anything like that. Basically just bust up in there and start letting off shots. Now, what's even more suspect is the fact that even the ballistic reports doesn't support the Kentucky's Attorney General claim that Breonna Taylor boyfriend had fired first. And basically, her boyfriend had, I think, if not a 9mm, it was a Glock. And the police had a 9mm or a 40 cal. Anyway, it was two different shell cases. And one thing about it, when you do ballistic reports, you can tell the size of the bullet and basically what gun it was fired from. So they were holding that information also because it would probably show that the boyfriend did not even shoot the cop because they saying that he shot a cop, and that's the reason why Breonna Taylor was gunned down, even though he said that he did not hear nobody announce themselves. So basically like a double whammy. No matter what you say, they always got something to counterattack. But we're going to go in on Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal, big dumbass, real quick, and see what they had to say. Anyway, I'm going to read a quick snippet from this story, and I'm going to give my opinion. All of it, surely, as we go. What did Charles Barkley and Shaq say about Breonna Taylor? And one thing about it, you know, it's not like the old days, and I'm not that old, but some of my people that's older listening to this, you may remember the people like Huey Newton, people like Khalid Muhammad, people like Malcolm X, people like Stokely Carmichael. You have people like that who were real activists, people that was in the trenches of doing certain things. Even, what's his name, Steve Coakley, may he rest in peace. May all of them rest in peace. You know, I think Stokely Carmichael's still alive. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section. But, you know, gone are the days of the old activists where you have people who was not entertainers, people who were not athletes, and all of a sudden when they grow old and they can't play sports no more, they want to tell you how to govern your life, live your life, and basically be involved in politics. My thing is this, if you're here talking about an NBA game, why in the hell ain't you talking about an NBA game? When did it become privy and when did it become popular to sit up here and talk about politics when you watch an NBA game? It's the reason why, because they can use these people influence, even though some people don't like Charles Barkley, some people do. Even though some people don't like Shaq, a lot of people like Shaq. But at the same time, they can use these people influence to influence your ass. So be careful who you listen to, like I always tell you. But anyway, that's the reason why you have these people up there saying any damn thing. Now anyway, what did Charles Barkley and Shaq say? All this was made on live TV on inside the NBA prior to the Lakers and Nuggets game, which I haven't even watched no game. I'm waiting till they go back to the real game. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, now Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal were discussing the death of Breonna Taylor prior to the Lakers-Nuggets game on inside the NBA on September the 24th. Barkley said that Breonna's case should not be lumped with the killings of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. Well, how about Tamir Rice? How about Philando Castile? The list goes on. It's more than just George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, who were basically, I hate to say it, snuffed out by road cops. But at the same time, why wouldn't Breonna Taylor's death be lumped right beside George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery when she was basically in her own home, in her sanctuary, and you're supposed to be protected in your own home? You know what I'm saying? How can somebody just sit up here and say, because people are not going to sit up here and say that they're guilty no matter what. That's why you have to take them to court and all this other stuff. So what do you expect the police to say? We went to the house and we knocked on the door and we announced ourselves. Even the neighbors heard us, says Candace Owens, which was a damn lie. So you expect them to sit up here and just pretty much put it out there point blank clean? If that was the case, then why in the hell would they need a no-knock search warrant? A no-knock search warrant is basically used on stash houses where you have drugs inside there, or whether it was somebody who escaped from prison. Those are kinds that have no-knock warrants where you go in there and hopefully the element of surprise, trying to find somebody doing something wrong or find drugs or alleged items that you're looking for involved in criminal activity. That's the reason for a no-knock search warrant. So you mean to tell me the police go there with a no-knock search warrant, not say it's me, not say it's a Trey King show, but says them, and they're going to announce themselves? That's a damn lie. So you have Candace also lying, and you have these so-called entertainers, Barkley and Shaq, lying also. When the ballistic reports basically contradicts who really shot the police who got shot in the thigh. They saying basically it was the cop behind him that shot him in the thigh, but they're not going to sit up here and tell the truth. But one thing about it, you can look at the exit wound, you know what I'm saying, and pretty much tell, was it a 9mm or a 40 cal? Because one thing about it, the bullet size are different. Let's continue. Now, he also said that the main difference between all the cases is that Breonna's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, shot at the police. See, they're using that word, the key word. Her boyfriend shot at the police, which basically gives them justification to light the whole place up. But if you have ballistic reports contradicting that statement, does that mean that they're lying? Yes, it does mean that they're lying, according to the ballistic reports. Now, all this was going on when their home was raided that night at 1 a.m. Now, Barkley said on live TV, I don't think this one was like George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery and things like that. But who gave you this transcript to read, Barkley? Who gave you this thing to write? Because we know damn well you did not think about that. Anyway, he also says, I feel sad this young lady lost her life. And they all said that. But how can you feel sad about this young lady, Breonna Taylor, losing her life when you sit up here basically making the cops in the right, no matter what the evidence clearly shows, that they was right for going in there and gunning this woman down? Even Candace Owens basically saying the same thing, but they quick to say that I'm sorry. No, you're not sorry, because the one thing about it, you would try to be right if you was right, but you're not right. Anyway, he says, I think this one was the no-knock warrant is something we need to get rid of across the board, which they're not going to do that because they use that all the damn time. They use it basically on drug houses and stash houses. So they were treating Breonna Taylor's apartment like a damn drug house, like a stash house, when it was no drugs found in there. Let me say it again. It was no drugs found inside the apartment. It was no drugs with the toxicology report after Breonna Taylor's death. It was no drugs found within her system. But let Candace tell it, and a few other people tell it, that Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend was around there pushing more weight than Rick Ross. I'm not talking about the CEO. I'm talking about the real Rick Ross. Anyway, Barkley also goes on to say, but I am worried to lump all these situations in together. But you're not worried about making these dumbass assertions saying that this woman boyfriend shot at the cops when the ballistic report is contradicting that. And it's quite funny that they just not bringing this evidence out yesterday. I will leave a link below so you all go check it out. But they just bringing this evidence out yesterday, the 27th, which was on a Sunday. Like, how many people are going to be paying attention to the news unless you're a blogger or a journalist or something like that? How many people are going to be paying attention to that? So it's quite funny that they will slide it out on a Sunday, on the 27th, about the ballistic report. So go check that out also. Then Barkley goes on and says, and I feel just bad that the young lady lost her life, but we do have to take account that her boyfriend shot at the cops and the cops shot back. Basically, keep emphasizing that, because if you say something enough, it'll stick to people. That's how it works in this world. You know what I'm saying? It's like a commercial that plays 1,000 times. If they say it enough and show you enough, usually you'll start liking it. But you would think Shaq would do the right thing, like Spike Lee said. You would think that Shaq would have a little bit more to say, or he can expound on a lot more of what Barkley had to say. But no, he did. He basically agreed with Barkley. And basically, this goes on to say right here, and this is Barkley continuing to say, so like I say, even though I am really sorry she lost her life, I just don't think we can put this in the same situation as George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery. Kind of like we can't put you in the same league as Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan because you never run a ring and you weren't that good of a player, even though you was pretty good, Sir Charles, but we're not going to talk about that. Now, Neil agreed with Barkley's statement and also chimed in with his dumbass comment, claiming that police were just doing their job. Says the 7'2" guy who want to be a damn cop. Like, how in the hell you going to go undercover somewhere when people clearly know that's your big tall ass Shaq? Shaq says, I have to agree with Charles. This one is sort of lumped in, O'Neal said. You have to get a warrant signed, and some states do allow no-knock search warrants. And everyone were asking for murder charges. When you talk about murder, you have to show intent, which is true. But at the same time, let's be for real, Shaq. Let's be for real with your good cop want to be ass. And Shaq also says, a homicide occurred, and we are sorry a homicide occurred. When you have a warrant signed by the judge, you are doing your job. And I would imagine that you would fire back, he added. So basically, agreeing with the whole situation. Now let's get on Candace Owens' big forehead ass before I close. Now Candace made her video just like she always make about, you know what I'm saying, things going on in the black community. She basically says that Breonna had to leave her job because she rented a car in 2016 that was involved in a homicide with her boyfriend at the time, Jamarcus Glover. So pause, hold on, wait a minute, think about it. If in 2016, her boyfriend at the time, Jamarcus Glover, was involved in the homicide, why wasn't the hell Jamarcus Glover in jail? Period, point blank. Why wasn't he in jail? And also, why would you have to lose your job just because you rent a car that was involved in some damn homicide? Does that make any sense? You let me know. Maybe it's different in Kentucky, but down here in the DD South, that doesn't sound right to me, because I know one thing in Texas. If I go rent a car and somebody go commit a murder, guess who getting in trouble? The person who committed the murder. I don't understand that. That's just like if you rent a car and I go somewhere and I kill 10 people, they come and arrest you for the murders and leave me alone, or they arrest both of us. How in the hell are you guilty unless you help me plan the damn murder? Anyway, that's the first thing Candace Owens' big forehead ass said. Now the second thing she said, that Breonna was helping her boyfriend move massive amount of drugs. And then she says, this is the truth, and to read the police investigative reports for clarification. But one thing about it, we never heard anything about this up until now. But it's quite funny, after the grand jury decision not to indict these cops, these 4 cops who killed Breonna Taylor, after their decision not to indict the cops, that all this evidence, all this so-called fake evidence or whatnot would come out after that. And it's also said that the fact that the grand jury would not charge any of these cops, but basically charge one of the cops with wantonly endangerment because he shot up in an apartment and basically could have killed somebody or whatever. I don't know if anybody got hurt. I hope they didn't. But they charged him for not killing Breonna Taylor, but for shooting inside of a neighboring apartment. But ain't that sad that the person that got killed, you know what I'm saying, nothing happened in that situation, but the fact some cop shot up in an apartment, that's how he get charged. That's a slap in the face. Now, the third dumb thing Candace said, police had a warrant with her name on it, and the police were trailing her, and the police had a poll camera monitoring everything for weeks because they were involved in meth, crack cocaine, and they were moving massive amount of drugs like they were damn Big Meech or some damn body. You know what I'm saying? And Jamarcus Glover was at the center of it. Lie number 4, Candace said, you were told that Breonna was innocent, but she was knee deep in drugs. Like, how in the hell do you sit up here and get gunned down, lose your life, and then somebody sit up here and say that you knee deep involved in drugs? And then the 5th damn thing Candace said, in 2018 when her ex-boyfriend Jamarcus Glover was in jail, they recorded their jailhouse conversation with her and an entire network of people involved in this drug ring, moving drugs through the neighborhood. Basically, she said that this drug ring was very intricate. Now, how in the hell can you be so smart but so dumb, but be intricate but so wild? So what I'm saying is to say this right here. How can a person be such a smart drug dealer, then at the same time go to jail and start running their mouth unless they are snitching, trying to set everybody up in hopes of receiving lesser time? Let me know that, because it don't make no damn sense. But just like this, you know what I'm saying? People will throw anything out there to prove and justify their point. Now, lie number 6, Candace said her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, hid behind her, using her as a shield. And to me, that was the ultimate slap in the face, because how in the hell, for those who do research and for those who really know what they're talking about, how in the hell could he have done that when Breonna Taylor was shot in the heel, shot in the foot, and they were basically showing that she was already on the ground, on the floor area, when she was still getting hit. So unless you can lay down and put her on top of you or whatever else, unless you're about an inch high, how in the hell could you hide behind somebody when bullets are coming from every damn where? Now, lie number 7 that Candace Owens said, the police came and knocked on the door and say police, when the neighbors clearly said they did not hear no police announce that they were police. And then she goes on to say the neighbors came outside to speak to the police. Now, what police and what neighbor in their right mind is going to sit up here and speak and talk to the police when you're executing a search warrant? A search warrant is about what? The element of surprise. You got to surprise the person because they just might have something in there. It may flush, it may eat it or whatever else, and you can't find the damn evidence. So why would you sit up here and hold a conversation with a neighbor? And why would a neighbor approach police geared up in SWAT gear with a battering ram? Do that make any sense? Anyway, she also said the neighbors verified that the police officer said it was the police, when those same neighbors said they did not hear no police say any damn thing. But anyway, you all be the judge and jury. You let me know what you think about this story. If you like the video, push that like button. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely share this video with your family and friends. Till next time, you all stay blessed. Have a great day. I'm out.